Welcome, Althea
Yes.
Waters, the face of my goal tracker. Thank you for being with us today. So we're here today to talk about goal setting and time management for
Thank you.
entrepreneurs.
Thank you so much for inviting me. It's my pleasure to be here.
So to give everybody context, can you tell us what you do and what your business is?
All right, great. So I am Althea Waters. I am a trainer, a corporate trainer. I am also a business coach and a productivity coach. I work with individuals, entrepreneurs, and corporate. So my area of specialty is time management and productivity coaching. And I also coach entrepreneurs in goal setting, in goal planning, and also in just executing their business strategy. So in a nutshell, that is what I do.
Okay, so getting right into it, we wanted to talk about the importance of goal setting and setting milestones for people starting out in a business.
Yeah, so goal setting has been a very popular word and a popular phrase. And as much as it has its popularity, it's very important. And without even a direction, goal setting in a nutshell is like it's a series of planning to help you to achieve your desired result or your desired goal. And when you look at it like that, it's like tiny bits of action plans to get to the bigger results. And it's important because what that gives you is a direction. Because without a direction, you may not know exactly where you need to go, what you need to do next, etc. So it's important because many times, even as entrepreneurs, we fall in the trap of not being focused, and goal setting actually focuses your mind, focuses the work that you need to do so that you can get the desired result.
Yes, I know that feeling. You can have the big picture idea of where you want to go, but without knowing the steps to get there or forgetting to follow the steps, you easily go off track.
Yes, absolutely. And that's what happens to us.
Okay, so in terms of your business, when you are helping somebody just setting out, what are the first things you think that they should have set up for themselves?
All right, to tell you the truth, before you actually go into goal setting, your mind has to be ready, right? Many times we believe that we can just jump into it and everything will fall into place because we hear people talk about it, etc. But there are certain fundamentals that are important for you, and your mind has to be ready. You have to be committed to that goal for you to be ready to take on goal setting. If you're not ready mentally, it doesn't even make sense. And when persons come to me, I do my own personal assessment. My first conversation is going to be just, I just want to understand why you're doing this. I just want to understand at the end of this, what will it give you and what will it not give you? And if it doesn't give you this now, will you be okay or not? And that's the process that I take as a method of fact finding, because I know that it doesn't even make sense for me to go into goal setting with them if they're not mentally prepared and if they're not committed to the bigger plan.
So the first thing right off the bat is getting your mindset in order.
Yeah. That's very important. Don't even bother to take it up because you see somebody going after this goal or trying to do this business. So you decide that, okay, let me try if it works. But if your mind is not in the right place, or if you will have no commitment to this, then don't bother to do it.
Okay, so since we're on mindset right now, let's continue with that. Mindsets that are most necessary when entering a business. From what you say, it sounds like one of the most important things is knowing why you're starting.
It is important. Some of the things when you come on to goal setting and goal planning and goal achievement, they sound very cliche. However, as cliche as they sound, they're so important. Understanding why you're doing something is even bigger than starting the goal planning. So you may want to start a business per se, or you may want to pursue higher education, or you may just want to work on a life passion. But what is that underlying driver for you to really want to do it? Some people may say that they want to make sure that they're creating a path for their future or their children, or they had experienced something before and they want to make sure that they don't go back to that type of living, etc. They want to make sure that they can have abundance, etc. in life. But it's always important for you to know what is your driving force behind this. And why is that important is that at different times in our lives, when you get stuck, right? When you get stuck and you don't know where to go or where to turn, going back to why you started will actually help to motivate you. But when you don't have something that is going to guide you to it, that's when we fall off. So it acts as a reminder as well and a motivator, and it acts as a direction. So understanding your why will actually give you that sense of direction that you want to take in whatever you're pursuing.
Okay, so as you said, first thing, establishing your why, getting your mindset in order. That's getting your own house in order before you start adding on to it. So what would you say is the next step?
Yes, exactly.
To out a plan for a business?
All right, so once you are ready mentally to do that, the next step is actually you would have had the bigger picture of what you want to achieve, right? So you know all of those things. So you want to know that. The next step is that actually you really want to know like a timeline so that you can work backwards on it. So you want to know, okay, I want to achieve this and I want to achieve this by a certain time. When you have that deadline, then you can then continue to break down the different areas inside of that timeline to get started. So you will work on what you do next, etc., to get to that timeline. So it's always important that you know the end in mind that you're working towards so that you can now take the direction to break the steps up to get to that end timeline. So that would have been important.
So it sounds like you're talking about setting a SMART goal, a specific, measurable, achievable, realistic goal, and then working backwards from that. Like, I want to have this accomplished in 6 months, be at this place, and then working what you need to do in the 6 months to get to that point.
Absolutely.
And the programs that you run help businesses with that?
Yes, because I do coaching conversations with the person. So you can be a part of my coaching sessions. You can do one-on-one coaching. You can do coaching for a series of 4 weeks, etc. So we talk weekly and work through the different action plans, because if it is that somebody do need support, an entrepreneur needs support, it will not be done in one conversation. We're not even started in one conversation, right? And what the first conversation is really getting an understanding of your baseline. Where are you? What do you want to accomplish, etc., and then moving on from there. So they can participate by one-on-one conversations, and we do buckets of like 2 conversations going into 4, etc.
And something else about your programs, the aspect of community, having other people working on their projects, having check-in points as well, that's very valuable for entrepreneurs. Like, we're self-employed, we're working from home. We don't have anyone to check in with here. We don't have the boss telling us this is the deadline. And so that is another point towards as well, having accountability. Yeah.
So there are different, so you have one-on-one coaching programs where, I may be your direct accountability partner, and then you have group coaching sessions. So I may have 4, 5, 10 people in a group. Each person is working on their specific goals. We have accountability partners assigned. You get weekly assignments, weekly touch base, and these assignments are your assignments, not mine, because I am there to make sure that I, structure you and help you to move on to, work through your business and your different areas. So you mentioned the community, and that's where the accountability partners come in, and that's very important to helping persons, keeping them back on track. Sometimes we need external motivation, even though motivation has to come internally from you first and then externally. So that level of community, you get to bounce an idea off somebody that works. Sometimes you just want somebody there to know that somebody's there. When you're sitting by yourself trying to work on everything, not everybody is strong with that. But when you have somebody you can check on, or somebody can check on you, that's very valuable.
Yes, there's also the aspect of when you set something for yourself, it's easy to just say, I didn't get it done this week, I can get it done next week. But when you have someone else waiting to hear from you, then that gives you an extra push at times. So in terms of mindset.
Yeah, it does.
Like, if you and a friend are both working on a project, say, we'll check in with each other at the end of the week on where we've reached. And just little things like that can very much help with mindset.
Yeah, it does. And then what happens is that if you have an accountability partner, or you know that I am going to check on you, Brianna, you don't want to feel left out or feel bad that you didn't get the thing done. So it pushes you even further to try and get it done. So that level of partnership is what helps to drive persons in group coaching conversations, which is something that I facilitate as well.
Okay, so in terms of mindset and setup, you have finding your why, you have setting your SMART goal and working backwards from that. You have finding community and accountability, an accountability partner. So those are 3 mindset shifts,
Yes,
to help you get started.
yes, for sure.
Continuing a bit on mindset, like those same mindsets work to maximize productivity. Do you have any other points you would like to add for maximizing productivity?
Well, to tell you the truth, when you're thinking about maximizing your productivity, if you're not a natural productive being, it's going to take a whole lot from you. So if you are not even structured, etc., it can take a whole lot, but everybody needs structure, whether you are born with it or not. Everybody needs structure in order to function properly. And from a mindset perspective, to maximize productivity, you're going to need to tell yourself that I am productive. I can be productive. Even if I'm looking right now, I'm a procrastinator, I don't utilize my time well, etc., because that's the fundamentals going into productivity. You have to tell yourself that I am productive. I am consistent in doing the things that I can do, and I have the capacity to do the things that I can do. So you really have to influence your mind to get the things done. I even though I am organized, etc., and I flourish at organizing other persons, I struggled with organizing myself to get the things done. And that is a mindset shift that I had to take on. Sometimes what you're gonna have to do is probably set 2 very, very tiny goals per day when it comes down to productivity, and observe yourself, 2 positive ones. So you could probably say, observe that you got up earlier today than before. You started something at this time, or you concentrated for 30 minutes with less distraction. Those are tiny productive habits that we take for granted, that those things add up to your productivity over time. So if you note those 2 or 3 observations about yourself per day, it will help you from a mindset perspective to overall maximize your productivity. But we can have a whole discussion about this, but those are some tips that I would share with you.
One thing I'd like to add on to what you just said, what is productive for another person might not be productive for you. Like for me, my family all wakes up like 5, 6 a.m. I'm awake at 9. And instead of trying to because I work late, I end up working late because after 10 is when I am awake and my mind is in whatever it is I'm working on. So I wake up much later. And instead of trying to force myself into the same routine as the rest of my family, I said, okay, I can work into the night, shift my wake up time till later. Then that's where my routine starts. That's where my gym, leisure time, then 5 hours of work starts. And just shifting my routine so it doesn't have to match everyone else's.
Yeah, and I'm just going to add so we can close off that point is that I'm very happy you touched on it, because knowing your productive hours is important to your overall productivity. You shine at night, I may shine in the day. I am tired in the night, so I don't try to force myself to do things in the night. And when you know your productive energy, you actually go faster. So I know if I have a window between say 8 a.m. and 8 a.m. and 11, I can move mountains. So I force all of my concentrated work during that time. So it's important to know what works for you, and you maximize your time like that.
Okay, moving on to our next point, I want to talk about balancing personal and professional goals. We have to take out that time for our personal lives, not let work overwhelm it, and also for self-care as well. Because when you're very driven to like just get on a project, keep going, build as fast as you can forget that you need to take a break to breathe once in a while.
Yeah. So I will share a point with you. So when you're thinking about balancing the personal with the productive, with your professional life, because we leave ourselves for last, the tip that I would give to you and your audience is that you're going to put yourself on the calendar first, right? So whatever it is that you needed to get done, if you do things on a weekend for yourself, if you need to know you need meditation hours in the morning or meditation hours in the evening, you put that in your schedule first. If you need to take a day out of the week where you're resting and you're not really thinking about work, put that on your calendar first. Choose a day, choose a time. So between, say, if you're choosing early morning hours for yourself, between 6 and 7 or 7 and 8 or 5 o'clock, and that's no disturbance time, no phone, no nothing, and you're just sitting probably outside or probably listening to something instrumental or reading, that's your time. If it's in the night, put yourself on the calendar, and you cannot compromise that time. You can't give up that time. It is non-negotiable, right? If on a weekend you're choosing a day that you're not doing any work at all and that's your day off, choose it and honor it. Keep that commitment to yourself. So put yourself on the calendar first and then you put the work in, and that will help you to balance between the personal and the work.
Yeah, something that I felt recently is that on the weekend, I have been exhausted because I'm trying to work on different things all through the week. When I get to Saturday, I am asleep. And so for my own mental health,
Yeah.
I decide Saturday to just rest, unless I actually do have something external, an appointment to keep. I just rest. And on Sunday is the day I set aside for my fiction writing. So that is both leisure and work. And so I set aside that day to just brainstorm what story it is I want to work on. And that is also helps with
Absolutely.
when you have different projects working on and you have one that's maybe not as high priority, you can set aside like 1 hour in the day or one day out of the week to just work on that so it's not crowding your mind when you're doing your productive work.
Absolutely. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. You have to find the time to rest and the time to rejuvenate yourself, but you have to put yourself on the calendar first and make it non-negotiable.
Yes. That moves us nicely into our next point, handling stress, overwork, and overwhelm.
Okay, so that's a whole lot of topic there, but stress overwork leading to stress and overwhelm. What happens here is that you literally have to pause. You literally have to pause. A lot of us don't know how to pause or when to pause. And so we have the burden, we're carrying the burden, we're tired, we're still pushing through, we have to get this done, we have to go here, we have to go there, and we have to do this. But the first thing you have to do is pause. And after you pause, you literally have to assess what's going on. You have to assess what is causing you to feel overwhelmed or stressed or overworked, and try to make a list of everything. Just brain dump everything. Try to make a list of everything. But if you don't pause, you don't have the time to make the list or to assess what's going on. And for me, there are times, even throughout the day, I may be going very fast. I'm juggling a lot, and at that point, there are points in the days where I may feel overwhelmed, and I'm like, okay, take a step back. What is causing me to feel overwhelmed? What is causing me to feel anxious? And I will pause for 5 minutes and I say, okay, that phone call that I just got is putting me in overdrive. Because I'm trying to do all these things today, it's putting me into overdrive. And you have to be mentally aware of what's going on around you. So that's why I say you first have to pause, and then you have to assess. And after you do that, you have to choose, right? You have to choose, because we think we can do everything, but we can't.
Yes.
Even the best of us who are at our highest level of productivity, we can't. So we have to choose what is important. So first pause, assess what's going on around you, and then choose. And it may mean that you're trying to do 10 things when really and truly, based on my level of health, my mental health as well, and the time available to do the thing and the energy that I have, I can only do 2 things out of that 10 things. And that's where choosing comes in. And yes, you have to prioritize and everything, but after you finish that, you have to choose, because you can't do everything. And that will help you to balance stress, overwhelm, and overwork.
Something you said about taking a moment to pause and write it out, that is something I've found very helpful for me. For me, I have this platform that I've been wanting to start for a while now. I have my lay-on jewelry business, and I have my author platform and my writing that I'm working on. So that feeling of overwhelm, one way that I manage it is by writing out. Like, you have a page and I write out each of those things and then the tasks that I have to do under it. And then giving yourself the time to work on them, space them out. Like the things that are on hard deadline, you know that those are the top of the list, those are priority, but anything that you can give yourself the time for, it's very easy to underestimate how much time something takes. Give yourself more time than you think you need for those things that are flexible.
Yes, that's a very good way. And a lot of us don't understand the power in writing. And for you, Brenna, who, as a creative, it's good to know that you are actually listening and writing down, because I believe that sometimes there's a story that creatives may not believe that they need structure, or they may not believe that I need to write this down, I need to do it like this, I need to do this at that time, etc. But we absolutely need structure to flourish.
Yes, we do. Okay, so moving on to resources for goal planning. Of course, there are people like you who have your expertise in that area and have resources to offer people going into a business or currently struggling with theirs.
Yeah, so resources can be tangible, intangible, etc. So we know that for persons who really want to go into entrepreneurship or to business, or just to help you with your business, you need organization, right? You need mentorship. You need tools to help you. So first, of course, using a planner or a notebook or whatever works for you, an organizer, that is a tool that you must have, right? That's a resource as well. Using a calendar to help you to schedule the stuff so you know how much time you have, and getting reminders, that's a tool as well. Seeking guidance from a coach, seeking guidance from persons who are able to help you with your business, with your overall being, because a lot of people don't realize that when you are not working, your business cannot work, right? And because that is so important, that is where you need that type of resource that you can draw on and get fill back up your cup over time, equip you with skills and knowledge how to do the things, because there are persons who may have gone ahead of you to do it, who would have learned some lessons, and they can teach you instead of you going through it by yourself and taking another 5 years. They can bring you up the curve faster. And that is where support from different coaches will come essential. There are different apps that you can use for planning, for all of those areas that is going to help you to organize yourself and organize your business. So it may be tangible and intangible. So you have to look at both, and those resources, they're really important to help us with our entrepreneurial life.
Yes, very true. And I would like to add to that by saying, take advice from people who are where you want to be. For me personally, that is within my family. My mother is a secretary for JTB. She works a 9-to-5 job. So entrepreneurship in itself is not her area, but my sister was already running her business before I started mine. So she is somebody I can go to. She is already where I want to be climbing. So yes, take advice from people who are where you want to be. And also what you said about apps that can help. First of all, writing things down yourself can help, getting everything out of your mind and onto paper, whether that is with a planner or by sorting it out yourself. Like you have my goal trackers. The one that I got from you was very helpful. I also found my own ways to map out my goals just so that I can see it visually in a way that I understand. And also an app like Milanotes. Notes is like a visual board that you can have up on your computer screen. You can rearrange it however you like, however works for you. And they also have the templates to help you plan different projects. I will put a link to that below this video for anyone who wants to check it out.
Great. And yeah, so there are various apps, there are various tools, various touch points, people that you can reach out to. All of those are resources. And it's good to know who to reach out to for help, as you said, and where to reach out to for help. And that will make a whole lot of difference and help us so we are less confused, we have more clarity and functionality so that we can move forward.
Yes, and I've also found within the creative community of Kingston and in Jamaica as a whole, people are very willing to help each other. They're very willing to offer this bit of advice to help you. It's a collaboration. Like we say, collaboration, not competition. That is how we build each other up, and it rises the whole industry if we do so.
And a lot of people are afraid to call out or to reach out for help because they believe that people won't help them. You just have to find the right person.
True. Most people that I've spoken to are willing to help in some way, or to at least talk about their business in some way. And also, if you are asking someone for help, see how you can help them. Collaboration, see how you can benefit each other. That is the best way to ask for help, is to also offer something.
Exactly.
Okay, would you like to offer any closing thoughts?
Well, just to say that sometimes goal planning can be daunting. Sometimes doing a business or running a business or even thinking to start a business can be very daunting to persons, especially when you don't know where to start or how to start. But writing things down have their own power, and there is a beauty and gift in that. It brings clarity. And then probably just listing who can I ask to help or to move forward to start, and then doing that. Then there's another flip side of it that, you know, even when you're trying to get resources, etc., not all free resources will work for you. Free resources may bring you to a certain point, but can't move you to the level that you need to be at. So you need to be very deliberate how you're choosing to package the things to support you in your own entrepreneurial journey. And whenever it becomes too overwhelming, just pause, take a break. Don't try to keep up with everybody who you see in the social media space trying to do things, because you don't even know what their journey is, and their journey is different from your journey. But when you know your journey, then just keep at it and get the right support.
Yes, and once again, adding to what you have said about free resources only getting you so far in some cases, there's a time where you have to invest in yourself, whether that means investing in courses and mentorship, such as your courses, Althea. So yes, I will have Althea's courses and social media linked below for anyone who would like to check it out. Can you let the audience know where they can find you?
Sure, you can connect with me on my social media page at My Goal Tracker. My Goal Tracker page brings you to my other links that you can connect with me for different things. So you can connect with me at My Goal Tracker. My email address is thegoaltracker@gmail.com. And you can also check out my website, www.focusedandfulfilled.net.
Thank you. All will be listed below. And thank you for joining Creative Life JA today. We really appreciate you coming on with us.
Thank you so much.
Yes, you can find me at Creative Life JA on Instagram and Facebook, and all links will be below this video.